Good afternoon, everybody. What's up? Welcome to Own the Chaos. My name is Brad. The stock market is crazy and chaotic, and I'm making my mission to help you. You guys own it. It has been another surprise red day in the markets after the Fed came in and raised rates 75 basis points, and everybody's kind of adjusting that news. Looking at the S&P right now, it's down at about 0.5%. The Dow is flat on the day, and NASDAQ taking the biggest hit. No surprise there. Now it's down 1 1/3%. Looking at WTI crude, that is at $88.13 per barrel. Closed down slightly 2%. It's nothing too crazy for oil, as volatile as that always is. Looking at Bitcoin, though, that is shoot, I just lost it. Yeah, it's in the green. It's actually in the green here. It's at 20,268 per Bitcoin. So crypto not doing so shabby, even though the markets are down today. And guys, we have an absolutely amazing reaction to earnings today. I don't even know how I'm going to keep up with it all, but I'm going to need you guys to help me out with it. It's going to be nuts. Absolutely nuts. The list is so long, it's crazy. I was like trying to create some sort of list that I could give you to review some of these. I just can't. So I need your help. Put it in the chat. Which ones are you specifically wanting to look at? I mean, we have PayPal on dock. We have Coinbase, Block, aka Square, Starbucks, Mercado Libre, Carvana, Twilio, Cloudflare, DoorDash, Expedia, Virgin Galactic, Opendoor, Monster Energy. I mean, and that's just like half of them that are reporting today. So please let me know in the comments what you guys would like me to take a look at. And we can react to. Of course, I'm going to get to as many as I can, but it's going to be a challenge. This is what I love and hate about this time. It's like, oh my God, I'm so overwhelmed, but man, is it exciting because there's just green and red candles all over the damn place. I cannot wait. Before we get into anything else, though, I want to make sure that I'm shouting out my starting five. What's up, Gabriel Navarro? Good to see you, bro. One of the OGs hanging in the house. Froggy, good to see you as well. Karem, good to see you. Snookeroo, Bodie Beard, you guys are the starting five. If you guys did not make the starting five, it could be because you're not subscribed to the channel and hitting that notification bell. So make sure you do that as I go live every Monday through Thursday at 3:45 p.m. Eastern time to react to earnings that are coming in after the market close, as well as whatever else is going on in the market. You know, yesterday we talked about the Fed, obviously, and what was going on there and what kind of impact it was having on the markets overall. And we saw that crazy acceleration of selling going into the close yesterday, and it doesn't seem like it's recovering pretty much at all today. And in fact, it's gotten a little bit worse in certain cases. So we'll continue to keep an eye on that. I mean, I'm just looking at tech, guys, and I think the NASDAQ goes below 9K. It's about to close somewhere around 10,380. And I am just kind of floored that we're going to see this back into the four figures. Not in a sense of like I'm shocked and surprised, like I wasn't expecting this, but more so of just like, man, it really did that. You know? So yeah, that is it's going to be crazy. People keep talking about how it's not the same as a .com bubble, but it certainly feels like it. It's just a different time. All right, so I see a couple of you guys responding already. By the way, if you're watching on Twitter as well, welcome. This stream is primarily done on YouTube, but I figured, hey, you know what? Why the hell not? Let's do some streaming on YouTube as well. So don't have too many. We got about 10 of you guys hanging in here on Twitter as well. So thanks so much for watching over there on Twitter as well. So let's get started. So I see a couple of people chiming in. Lost One says he's having a cigar. Bro, I'm going to have one tonight. So that's awesome. Good to see that. So Coin and PayPal. Presto's asking about Coin and PayPal. So I actually have those both pulled up. Let's go ahead and pull up PayPal. Man, what a fall from, I don't want to say fall from grace, but just like I don't know. Sad story. Stock was at $300 back in November of last year? Yeah, January of 21. Was the peak of PayPal, $310.16. Let me go ahead and share my screen with you guys so you can take a look at this weekly chart. So July of 2021 was what we saw, and each one of these candles represents 1 week, and it's done nothing but go down ever since. Kind of seems like it's trying to figure out a bottom around $75, but I really don't know if that actually is the bottom just yet. I mean, it's been really rough. This whole week right here, this week that we've seen has come down to retest that area. And if they come in with earnings that aren't what people are hoping for, then it could get really ugly for PayPal. Their expected earnings per share is 96 cents, $6.82 billion in revenue. Now, analysts are split on this. We got 15 upward revisions. There's so many analysts on this one. 15 upward revisions, 16 downward revisions. And it seems as if, the theme is going to be surrounding around demand. Obviously, I think that's a key thing to look out for. But what's the guidance here? I mean, we've been seeing a lot of companies come in and actually beat on expectations, but they come in and guide down. And that's something that I'm certainly interested in looking at. The other thing is the buy now, pay later side of the business. We have not only, it's kind of rare that we have PayPal and Square, aka Block, reporting on the same day. Usually they're like within a couple of days of each other, but it's pretty rare that we see them both on the same day. This one also, let's take a look at the weekly chart here. Same type of deal, right? This is at 289, now floating around $53. I just can't believe that. It's crazy to see how much some of these stocks have come down. Believe it or not, fundamentally, Block is still kind of overvalued. We'll watch and see how the market reacts to this one. Expected earnings per share for Square is 23 cents, $4.47 billion, 16 upward revisions to 12 downward revisions. So not even the street really knows what to expect from either one of these companies. But a couple key focuses, obviously, is going to be guidance. What are they expecting for Q4? What are they seeing right now? And what can we expect from the buy now, pay later segment? Now, we've seen some record numbers when it comes to credit, right? Credit usage and credit accounts in recent weeks. Can we see some sort of move upward on the buy now, pay later side as well? I think that it's possible. I don't think we've heard from, we heard from a firm last week, I believe, or we are waiting to hear from a firm. I think a firm's later no, they were yesterday or this morning, something like that. And you can see that they got crushed. That stock's now down 4.74%. Again, this is your weekly chart. Hasn't been pretty for them. So we'll see on the buy now, pay later side and what demand's looking like as far as people taking out credit and being able to pay that all back. So there's going to be a couple key areas to watch there. Coinbase. Presto is also asking about Coinbase. I'm sure a lot of you guys are also curious about Coinbase. This stock is down another 8% right now. Now, Robinhood came in and talked about how they saw some increased activity as far as revenue is concerned, but the monthly active users was also down. That stock actually had a pretty decent day. So could it be that we're looking at Coinbase right now that's down 8% just on the day, and we don't even want to talk about how far down this is since it's IPO, but can we see a potential increase in trading activity when it comes to cryptocurrency, or are we still very much in that winter and there's no sign of relief there at all? Their expected earnings per share are going to be a loss of $1.47, $641.88 million is the expected revenue. Last time around, they came in beat earnings, but they missed revenue and they guided down horribly. We've heard about how they were cutting jobs. About 20% of their job force was also being cut. So this is going to be interesting to watch out for as far as their guidance is concerned as well. You're looking at revisions here from analysts. You got one lonely upward revision, must be Kathy Wood or some sort of friend of Kathy Wood's. 7 downward revisions on this for Coinbase as well. I really got to say, I would be really nervous if I was a Coinbase holder. At this point, if you've been holding on to it for a while, let's just say over the last 6 months or what have you, what are you going to do? Sell it down here? I don't think so. I think you just kind of hold your nose and kind of pretend you don't have it. I'm not saying that you go in and buy, but if you're already a holder of Coinbase, in my opinion, you look at this and it's just like, why sell it now? I mean, you're red as shit. Just hang on to it if you can afford to do so. I don't think Coinbase is going anywhere. And in fact, when Bitcoin does come back, which I do strongly believe that it will, and I think it's going to come back very strongly, then I think that Coinbase is going to do really well. So in my opinion, even though it's not, I don't have high expectations for this quarter. If you're in it, to me, in my opinion, I wouldn't think about selling it here or even after these earnings, even if they are bad. I don't think I would be buying it though either. I think I would just be staying put and kind of watching to see where the bottom actually ends up being. Taking a look at a couple other ones, we got Cloudflare. That is actually green today, surprisingly enough. Maybe just in anticipation of some earnings, but we can take a look at that as well on those expectations. That is going to be ticker symbol NET, NET. Estimated earnings per share on that one is going to be flat. $0 per share, $249.84 million in revenue, 2 upward revisions to 11 down. Not great for Cloudflare either. So as far as, expectations from the street is concerned, we'll see. We'll see on that one. Bodie Beard says Carvana is going to be bad. Yeah, it might be. Unless it goes the way of like Avis. I mean, that stock's up almost 7% here on the day. Let me take a look at expectations here. My goodness, what a move. Loss of $1.97 is expected here. $3.69 billion in revenue. 1 upward revision to 9 down. Looking at this one. Let's see what else we got. Over the last 3 months, earnings estimates have seen 0 upward revisions and 16 down for Carvana, yet the stock continues to go. Over the last 1 year, Carvana has beaten earnings estimates 50% of the time and has beaten revenue estimates 75% of the time. So this really is a crapshoot. The consensus estimate is $1.97 versus a loss of 38 a year ago. A loss of $1.97 versus a loss of 38 a year ago. And consensus revenue estimate is $3.71 billion. Imagine bringing in $3.71 billion a year and still not actually being profitable. When I look at companies like this, it really is mind-blowing to me. Even like Uber, they barely make any money, yet somehow people keep investing the shit out of them. That kind of stuff just blows my mind. Okay, looking at some of the other Mercado Libre, Snookeroo, looking at Mercado Libre. If you guys have any other stocks you would like me to take a look at, we certainly can as we head into the close. We got about 2 minutes left. 2 minutes left in the market here. And then we can start getting into reacting to a lot of these stocks. So Mercado Libre having a halfway decent day. That's up around 2%. This is probably reacting a little bit to what Etsy did last night. Let's see where that is. Yeah, Etsy's up another 14% today. My goodness. Jesus. If you guys aren't familiar with Mercado Libre, it's kind of in the same space as like an Etsy or Amazon, but it's for South America, Central America. That's where it's based out of. And Mercado Libre actually has pretty decent numbers as far as their balance sheet's concerned. They actually do make pretty decent money as well. Their expected earnings per share, $2.49, $2.70 billion in revenue, 6 upward revisions, not 1 downward. Sometimes that can be a bad sign, and everybody's like on board, but I don't think there's anything to really fear here as far as Mercado Libre is concerned. It's only up around 2.25% going into the close. You can see it's kind of selling off here actually as we get into the final moments here of the close of the day. Last time around, they beat by 50 cents. Expected earnings per share there was like 213, 203, and they ended up coming in and crushing it. They came in with $2.6 billion in revenue. This time around, they're expected at 2.7. I think they crushed that number. I would be surprised if they didn't. So those are your Mercado Libre numbers. I know that there's plenty of them that I haven't covered. And so I promise, guys, I will try to do my best, but you would not believe the amount of earnings that I have to cover today. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. I already covered Coinbase, Dakari. So we already know what they're expecting. You don't need to put it in there multiple times. Sorry you showed up late. I will cover it as soon as we see the reaction from Coinbase, however. Hey, what's up, Jen? Come down on some. Hey, what's up? Good to see you, man. Libre should do a stock split. I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with that, Carmike. I think that if they did a stock split, I think that probably would be beneficial. It obviously doesn't do anything for the value of the stock. But obviously the window dressing would look much nicer. So the market's officially closed. I'm kind of at a loss as to where I should go first, but let's take out Starbucks because we haven't talked about it yet. That stock is up around 0.5% after hours. But it doesn't look like we're seeing any activity based off of earnings. I think it's just some light trading going on there. Opendoor also reporting earnings today. No movement there from them. Let's take a look at Coinbase. Coinbase is up around 0.75%. No real volume to speak of just yet. There may be something there, but I'll come back to that one. Square, aka Block, that's up also a little bit, but nothing crazy there either. PayPal, nothing there either. Just fractionally down here after the close. Mercado Libre, flat. Cloudflare, also flat. Carvana, CVNA, that's up 2%. All right, maybe is there something there? Man, that's up 2% after a 6.5% day. Holy shit balls. DoorDash, we didn't get to talking about DoorDash, but let's take a look at that. That stock's not really moving anywhere either. Appreciate it. Car Mike says thumbs up. Yeah, if you guys are just tuning in, make sure you hit that thumbs up. I certainly would appreciate the support. Thanks in advance. I see a lot of you guys watching on Twitter as well. So thanks for watching over there on Twitter as I simulcast today's show. Appreciate that. Still just waiting on some of these reactions as they start to move. EXPE also reporting Expedia. We heard from Airbnb earlier this week. That stock is actually down almost 2% after already being down 3% on the day. So let's take a look at that and see if there's some news on Expedia. Expedia right now doesn't look like, oh, yep, here we go. So Expedia reported earnings of $4.05. The consensus was $4.12. So they missed on earnings per share. And the street was actually, the whispers from the street were actually at around $4.27 per share. That's quite a miss on earnings. Record quarterly revenue, though, and third quarter lodging bookings. Net income was up 33% against 2021 and recorded adjusted EBITDA. Free cash flow for the first 9 months of 2022 was $3.1 billion, more than double of 2019 levels. Yet the stock has come down and missed on earnings per share. It's now down 4%. We'll come back in and check that out. But those are your preliminary numbers on Expedia. Let's check in on some other ones that could be moving here. DoorDash. Looks like we got some potential movement on DoorDash. Let's see here. That stock's up about 1.5% after already being up close to 6% today. Let me see if I can. So now it's kind of going in the other direction here. Could just be low volume BS. Yeah, I don't see anything just yet on DoorDash. Square, Mercado Libre. Oh, here we go. Mercado Libre booming. That stock's up 11% after hours right now. God damn. Come on, Mercado Libre. Keep going. I'll take these green shoots. Look at that boner candle, baby. Holy shit. All right. So Mercado Libre came in 256. They beat estimates by 24 cents. Revenue came in at 2.69 billion. That actually missed by just $10 million. Damn. As you guys recall, I had said that I thought that it should be easy for them to beat that 270 mark, but they actually missed on revenue by 10 million bucks. Not really the end of the world, but they ended up beating earnings expectations by a ton here. At $2.56. Credit portfolio ended the quarter at $2.8 billion with 55% of gross book in consumer credit, 25% in merchant credit, and 20% in credit cards. 8.6 billion gross merchandise volume was up 31.5% year over year, and that is accounting for a forex neutral on a forex neutral basis. As you guys know, the strong dollar has kind of really wreaked havoc a lot, but that stock just jumped up 10% and now has given back some of those gains. Some pretty low volume, so we might see some crazy volatility here in after hours on Mercado Libre. But man, that stock spiked. Big old boner candle. Damn. All right, let's take a look at some of the other ones here. PayPal, not really moving all that much yet. I don't think those numbers are out just yet. But man, we'll keep an eye on that one. Square also, or Block. I'm never going to get used to calling it Block. Cloudflare is up 2%. It doesn't look like it's on really any kind of volume, so I don't think those numbers are out just yet either. Opendoor, that might be out now. Let's take a look at Opendoor. By the way, keep the chat humming, guys. I see a lot of you asking about specific tickers. I do see them, and I will get to them. I just can only talk so fast, and I can only search for these earnings numbers so fast as well. But it looks like Opendoor's numbers are out. And they came in, just kind of reading here, they came in at revenue of $3.4 billion, up 48% versus the third quarter of 21. That's actually really good in growth for revenue, with 8,520 total homes sold. That's also up 42% versus this time last year. Gross profit of 425 of a loss of 425, which reflects the inventory valuation judgment of 573 million versus 202 million in Q3 of 21. Gross margins of 12.6%. Net loss of 928 versus the 57 million in this time last year. Adjusted net loss of 328 million versus 18 million in this as of this time last year. Outlook here on revenue guidance 2.3 to 2.5 billion. Adjusted EBITDA guidance of 355 million to 335. Let's see here on some other stuff. And those are your numbers. So it looks like they actually missed on earnings per share for Opendoor. And you can see now the stock is actually getting crushed. It's down around 6.5% after being up 2% on the day. Take a look at this on the daily chart, and it is well below a previous bottom. Man, one of the SPACs that I guess never will be. The growth there is actually not bad. You know, the revenue growth isn't bad at all, but it's down 7% regardless, and continuing to move down as we speak. So pretty rough day for Opendoor yet again. Okay, checking in on Coinbase. Still no real movement on that. Starbucks, that's up a ton. That's up around 3.5%, which is pretty big for Starbucks, which means those numbers are probably out. So if you guys recall, Starbucks, I had said the expected earnings per share for Starbucks was, I had it. Here we go. Was up, was $72 cents per share, $8.32 billion in revenue. Only 2 upward revisions on this thing, and the stock is now moving quite well. It's up 4% after hours. So they came in Q4 consolidated net revenues up 3%, up 11% on a 13-week basis at a record $8.4 billion. My goodness. That is good stuff here. Just reading through some of the other parts of this earnings report. 81 cents actual, as I'd mentioned, 72 cents was expected. The revenue came in at $8.41 billion. Again, that's beating expectations of $8.31 billion. Guidance also really good here as well. Revenue is $8.4 billion versus that's the last quarter. The guidance was also good for this one as well, though, too. I just had the guidance numbers, and now I do not. Full fiscal year, global comparable store sales increased 8%, driven by a 5% increase in average ticket and 2% increase in comparable transactions. North America comparable store sales increased 12%. Wow. Driven by a 7% increase in average ticket and a 5% increase in comparable transactions as well. A great quarter for Starbucks, and it looks like their guidance is actually pretty decent as well. I mean, Starbucks killing it. International comp sales down 5% versus the expectation of it being down 8%. So that's also good. U.S. comp sales 11% versus the 7.5% expected. Adjusted earnings per share was 81 cents versus the 72 that was expected. And we know that their revenue also came in and beat pretty handily. So Starbucks knocked it out of the park this quarter. And it's being rewarded for that. Look at that. Man, what a move. All right, so let's check out DoorDash. That stock's also up. Good God almighty. That's up 12% after already being up 6% today. Holy shit. Okay. I know there's a lot popping off, guys. I will get to them. I see you guys bringing them in. I appreciate this. I appreciate this. So I see Square's earnings are out, Twilio's are out, Coinbase is out, Dash is out right now. So I'm going to pull up Dash as I have it pulled up. So I appreciate you guys throwing this in the chat. Please continue to do so because we have a ton of earnings to cover. So those are the ones that are going to be coming up. I've already covered quite a bit, but let's go ahead and take a look at Dash right now because it is popping. I just got done covering Starbucks that also had an incredible quarter, and that stock is doing well, but not as well as Dash is. Looking at these DoorDash earnings, they came in and did quite well, it seems. Still popping off. Wow. As soon as I have these numbers, I will give them to you, but it's now still up 10% after hours. And again, that's after already being up 6% on the day. Let's see here. I don't have the numbers yet. I don't know why they're not coming through. There we go. DoorDash's Q4 gross order value 13.9 to 14.2 billion. The estimate was 13.6. So they blew. This is why the stock's up right now. They blew expectations for guidance out of the water. I see one comment here says Pal's not going to like that. Probably not. Probably not. Probably not going to like that at all. But DoorDash is crushing it. It's given back some of its gains. It was up around 12%, now only up around 7%. But looking at revenue was $1.7 billion versus the 1.63 that was expected. Q4 adjusted EBITDA is 85 to 120. The estimate was 92. So on the upper end of that as well. Q4 gross order volume 13.9 to 14.2. The estimate was 13.6. They missed on earnings per share, it looks like, but they crushed on revenue, and their guidance was there too. And that is why the stock, as you can see, is up. It did give back some of those gains, but it's starting to climb back up here. I'll be interested to see what they say on their earnings call. That's for sure. So DoorDash is absolutely going off. We'll come back to that one and revisit it. So Square also going off. That is up, 15% after being down around 1% on the day. That is flying right now. Block is. So let's take a look and see what those numbers are. They came in at 42 cents per share versus the 24 that was expected. Wow. An absolute monster beat for Square. Revenue came in at $4.52 billion versus the 4.52 that was expected. So in line on revenue, but those earnings beats is absolutely incredible. Stock's up 14.5% as a result. My goodness. Jack Dorsey feeling himself today, I'm sure. Trying to see what else might be impacting this move up. I'd imagine it has a lot to do with guidance, but I want to confirm that. But I mean, my God, I mean, they almost doubled the expectations on earnings per share. They were able to figure out how to make money quite well. It looks like the block is, this is excluding Bitcoin, and this is quoting from the report. Excluding Bitcoin and our buy now pay later platform, Cash App revenue was $817 million, up 41% year over year and 73% on a 3-year basis. That is the Cash App side of the business. Wow. Wow. That is amazing. Some reports are saying that they actually beat on revenue. So I'm seeing that they either came in line or beat, depending on what the expectations were from where your sources were from, as far as Square is concerned. But my God, that thing is going nuts. Let's see if PayPal actually has the same movement. PayPal is up slightly. It doesn't look like PayPal actually has their numbers out just yet. Let me just double check that. But that stock's only up around 2%. This looks like it's just kind of like a sympathy move to Block. Yeah, those PayPal numbers don't look like they're out yet. No, I don't see anything on that. All right. Checking in with some of you guys. Appreciate it. Chicago shootings. Thanks so much. Did Open change directions? Because Open was down when I saw it last. It didn't really change much. So Carvana, somebody says Carvana, bye-bye. Let's check out Carvana. See where that's at. Yeah, that stock's down now 10% after having a 6.5% day. Let's see where the Carvana's numbers were at. So if you guys recall, I had mentioned that a loss of $1.97 was expected for Carvana, and $3.71 billion was also the revenue expectations. Trying to find the actual numbers now. And I am seeing it. Let's see. Lots of different types of numbers coming out. Let's see if I can find the actual. Here we go. So they came in a lot. Wow. They came in a loss of $2.67. $1.95, as I mentioned, or $1.97, wherever you got your source from, was the expectation. Sales came in at 3.39 billion, missing those $3.78 billion estimates. And it ain't looking pretty, folks, for Carvana. Missed on earnings per share, missed on revenue, kind of missed all the way around. Doesn't look like their guidance is going to be good enough to get the stock moving again, but we will see. It is early, of course, but that is a hell of a miss. Again, Carvana came in at a loss of 267, expecting a $1.95 in losses, and then sales came in at 3.39 billion with a 3.78 billion estimate. So missed by about 300 there. Yikes. Can I cover Bill? Absolutely, Karem. I got you, bro. Let's cover Bill right now. It's Bill.com, right? Or Bill, yeah, Bill.com. So looking at this one, this is up 5.65%. I appreciate this because, like I said, I mean, I had a handful that I thought were worth talking about, but if you guys, there's so many of them. We covered Mercado Libre, we covered Cloudflare, we covered Carvana, DoorDash, Opendoor, Block, Starbucks, so many other ones, and I'd be happy to return to those as well. This is once I cover a lot of these other ones. But looking at Bill, reported, I don't know why I laugh when I say Bill, but I mean it's just because it's like a name. Reported earnings of 14 cents per share. Consensus was 6. So they crushed earnings there. Bill did. Good job, Bill. Way to go, Bill. $229.9 million versus the 210 that was expected. So they crushed on revenue as well. Guidance came in at 12 to 14 cents per share. The estimate was 8 for guidance for Q2. That's a quarter that we're in. Revenue came in at revenue expectations or guidance is at 241.5 to 244.5 versus 237. So another monster beat on guidance as well. I mean, my goodness, this stock should be up way higher than 3%. Even the entire fiscal year guidance at 48 to 59 cents per share versus the 34. That is also a monster beat there for guidance revenue. I mean, huge raise on guidance here. 994 to just over $1 billion on revenue for the year versus 970. So absolutely smashed. Bill did. Again, good job, Bill. Way to go, Bill. Nicely done, Bill. PayPal looks like PayPal might be actually moving down here. Holy shit. Goddamn. PayPal's down 11%. I told you guys I wasn't ready to call the bottom here on PayPal, and there's a reason for that. Now they're down 12%. Jesus Christ. Let me give you the expectations real quick on PayPal, what we were hoping to see, and that was 96 cents per share. $6.82 billion in revenue was also that expectation. The analysts are split on this, 15 upward revisions to 16 down. We just heard from Block, and they actually crushed earnings, and the stock went up over 14% plus. And it's like the exact opposite here for PayPal, it would seem. Now the stock is down around 13%. So let's see what those actual numbers are. As I'm chatting with you guys, I am pulling them up. As soon as they come through, I will share those with you. So earnings per share came in at $1.08. So they beat on earnings per share versus the 96 that was expected. $6.85 billion versus the $6.82 billion that was expected there in revenue. So it looks like they beat on that as well. Guidance, however, that also doesn't look bad either. Fiscal year 2022 earnings per share, $4.07 to $4.08 versus the $3.93 that was expected. So that's a better than expected guidance. Also, $27.5 billion. That is actually a little bit lower on revenue expectations for guidance than the 27.81. So 27.5 versus 27.81 billion that was expected. But earnings are expected to be higher than what the street was looking for. That is interesting. I don't think PayPal deserves to be down 11% because of that. A slight cut in revenue, but profitability, they're going to be higher, and you're going to sell it off 11%. I don't know about that, guys. Let me know what you think about PayPal in the comments, but just based off of these numbers, I'm not really seeing it warrants an 11% move down. Savvy Money Show says expectations are that people are leaving PayPal. Maybe, but the profitability is certainly there. I don't know. I don't know about that. My goodness, what a day for earnings. What an absolute crazy day for earnings. Let's check in on a couple other ones that maybe I haven't talked about. Twilio also had earnings today. Remember Twilio? Remember everybody was crazy about Twilio during the earnings during COVID. That stock's down 12.5%. Twilio's was expected to come in today on earnings of about a loss of 35 cents. $972.87 million was the expectations. Not one analyst was excited about Twilio right coming into these earnings. Not one upper revision. They were all down. So looking at actual numbers from Twilio, it looks like they came in 995. Oh, the guidance was 995 to $1 billion in revenue. The estimate was 1.07. So missing on guidance there. And then on looks like guidance for earnings also down. Q3, they see a loss of 27 cents. They actually beat on those earnings. So coming in for a loss, but they beat on earnings nevertheless. $983 million versus the $973 was expected. So they also beat on revenue there as well for the quarter that they're reporting on. The current quarter that we're in, though, is the real story, and that's probably why the stock is down 14% here after hours. Guidance for Q4, the quarter that we're in right now, a loss of 11 cents to a loss of 6. Estimate was a loss of 12, but the revenue is really kind of where it comes into play. $995 million to $1 billion, $1.07 billion was the expectation for guidance. So they came in and missed on guidance. Again, I think that while this probably deserved a minor sell-off because of the miss in revenue, I mean, they're making their way towards profitability, and they actually beat guidance numbers for profitability, and they beat pretty handily on this quarter as well. They missed on one small guidance number, and it really wasn't that much. I don't know. I also don't think this deserves a 14% sell-off, but this is the type of overreactions we're seeing in this market right now. It's pretty crazy. I see a couple of people talking about Team. Let's take a look at Team. Oh my goodness. Yeah, Atlassian's down 25%. I want to look at the daily chart. 129 is where it's sitting at right now, and it is well below that bottom. So the 52-week low was 159 until now. 129 is where that's sitting at, and that is all the way right around here. That's where it's sitting at right now. This is your daily chart. Going to be an ugly day for Atlassian. Let's take a look at what the expectations were for Atlassian, and I'll give you the actuals. 38 cents per share was expected. $806.42 million was also expected there. This actually had quite a decent amount of upward revisions, 15 upward revisions to 4 down. The stock's now down 25%. Let's take a look and see what Atlassian actually ended up reporting their earnings on. I mean, my God, this is just puking shares right now. Absolute puke of shares. Guidance was 835. Oh, that's one big reason why. Guidance for Team or Atlassian was 835 to 855 million versus 880 million consensus. So huge miss on guidance. Looking for the actual numbers here for the quarter they were reporting on. It came in 36 cents per share, so they missed the 38-cent estimate. Sales came in at 807 million. They did beat that number, the 806.37 million that was expected, but they missed on earnings per share, and guidance was a huge ass miss. Big miss on guidance, and that's why the stock's down 25%. Investors don't like to see, slowing of growth, guys. That, my God. I mean, does it deserve the 25% sell-off? I don't know. Maybe, but that is a huge miss on guidance. I mean, that's really big. That's really big. Checking back in. I don't think we actually talked about Coinbase just yet, have we? Coinbase hasn't really moved at all. I don't even know if their numbers are out yet. This one stock that we haven't covered yet. I mean, I gave you guys the expectations, but I don't think those numbers are out just yet. Yeah. Or is it just not reacting? Let's see. No, I don't really see. Let's see. It looks like those numbers might be out. Yeah, here we go. Okay. So it just looks as if there's not really much of a reaction to them. They're flat right now, down around 0.5%, not really going anywhere. That's an interesting change, right? I mean, all the stocks we've looked at are either up 10, 15% or down 25%, right? And then you have Coin that comes in and not really moving at all on their earnings. So they came in, revenue was at 590 million versus the 649 that was expected. So they missed by a cool $60 million on earnings, on revenue. Earnings per share was a loss of $2.43 versus a loss of 223 that was expected. So they missed all the way across the board. And look at this. Coinbase is actually just flipped green after hours. What the hell's going on? Did they give some good guidance or what? What is going on here? Okay. I don't know what's happening with Coinbase, but it's up 1%. Somebody give me something. Oh, here we go. Lucifer, thanks for the donate, man. Appreciate it. It says Sony Pump God of War Ragnarok is a triple game getting 5-star reviews, releases on Wednesday. Sony doesn't really move all that much. Sony doesn't really move all that much at all. I don't think any one video game is going to get this stock actually moving unless we have some incredible numbers. I mean, they already had earnings and the stock already kind of gapped up quite a bit. I don't think anything is going to come of that really. I don't think I see any strong movement. Do I like Sony? Yeah, for sure. I think it's a great company and it's just been going through it just like everything else in the market. But I don't think I would be buying it just because of that. But yeah, I like the stock regardless. Just to be clear. Going back to Coinbase, it's now up 4.5%. Something's happening here. Yeah, that's my point too, Daniel G. A video game's not going to move Sony. Yeah. Thanks, Nukaroo. Man, it has been an absolute marathon today. And if you guys have been appreciating the stream so far, I certainly would appreciate you hitting that like button and subscribing to the channel. I go live Monday through Thursday at 3:45 p.m. Eastern time, cover all the earnings that come out after hours. So let me know what you guys think about the stream. If you're visiting for the first time, I certainly would appreciate it if you continue to join the community and be a part of what we got going on. So just kind of checking back in on Coinbase. I mean, the stock initially was down on a miss on revenue and a bad miss on revenue and earnings. Yet the stock is now moving up. It's up around 4.5%. Trying to find out a reason as to why, because that miss on the quarter that they're reporting on is really bad. Really, really bad. Man. Trying to figure out why this is moving though, but I got nothing. It's so funny though. You got mainstream media out here saying that Coinbase reports plunge in revenue and swings into a loss. Lots of other mainstream talking about how Coinbase is tanking when it was only down around 1%, now up 5% after hours. I still can't find a real good reason as to why this is moving up, other than maybe it's just so bad that it's good. Sometimes that's just the reason. I have no idea why this stock is up 5% after hours. Unless they gave something on that guidance that perhaps they're seeing trading activity increase. I really don't know. This is interesting. Looks like monthly active users also were down 16% year over year. I'm still not finding any bright spots in this report, guys. Yeah, I mean, this is a good point, Jeremy. This is kind of what I was talking about. Jeremy says it's already so badly beaten. Maybe, maybe. Sean, yeah, I hear you. Oh my goodness. Roku was down 18%, but only down 4% today. Yeah, it was a hell of a comeback. Man, this is crazy, crazy move on Coinbase. All right, I spent a bunch of time on here. If you guys see any other reasons as to why Coinbase moved up, I'm all ears. But I got nothing on that report. That report was absolutely atrocious. PayPal's down. They guided down. We did cover PayPal. They actually beat on earnings on the quarter they're reporting on. The current quarter they actually guided down. So that's why that stock moved down. But to be fair, they only guided down on revenue, not on earnings per share. So profitability wise, they're actually expecting an increase on guidance as far as that's concerned. But revenue, Frantic, we'll take it back. Let's go back and look at PayPal real quick. So revenue is where they kind of missed on. And to be honest with you, I still think that this is a stark overreaction. Unless there's something else I'm missing. If the stock is selling off just because they guided down on revenue, but actually guided up on earnings, on profitability, I don't think this necessarily warrants an 11% sell off. So this could very well be an overreaction. And that's after the stock was already down another 3.5% today. So we did cover Cloudflare, but I'm more than happy to revisit that one. Cloudflare came in and missed earnings badly, a wider loss than what was expected. And guidance also, I think, was pretty bad for Cloudflare as well. So Cloudflare came in Q4 adjusted earnings per share 4 to 5 cents. That's the guidance there. Estimated was $1.70. Third quarter revenue, 253.9 million. The estimate was 250. Earnings per share. Oh, that's PayPal. Earnings per share of PayPal was $1.08 estimated. Yeah, we already talked about that. Let me just make sure that I'm not missing anything else on Cloudflare real quick. But yeah, not really too much of a shocker. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. Some of these earnings have been running together, so please forgive me. Cloudflare came in. They beat earnings per share. They beat revenue by about $4 million. So just not really, not a huge beat, but they beat nevertheless. They're up 47% in revenue year over year. That's pretty impressive stuff. But I believe guidance is what kind of killed them. Yeah, 273 to 274 versus the 273.5 that was expected for Q4 guidance in 2022. Non-GAAP income from operations 12 to 13 million. Net income per share 4 to 5 cents. Consensus was 2 cents. Total revenue 974 to 975 versus the 970. So again on the lower side there. Non-GAAP income from operations of 31 to 32. Non-GAAP net income of 11 to 12 cents versus 3 cents. So that's from Seeking Alpha. I could have sworn I saw that they had guided down on revenue. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I could have sworn I saw that. So that's according to Seeking Alpha. PayPal's been volatile, kind of like Roku-ish stock. It will bounce back fast tomorrow, I bet, says David Moore. I don't know, bro. PayPal's been volatile in one direction. Here's your weekly chart. And now at $68 a share, this is actually testing that low that we saw back in July of this year. And we're back to levels that we hadn't seen since 2018. I mean, I hear you, bro, but I don't know if PayPal is actually going to come back. Just because I say that I think it's an overreaction doesn't mean that it's going to necessarily bounce back. I don't think that PayPal deserves this 10% sell off, though. I will say that. I think I covered almost everything. We covered PayPal that we're looking at right now. Coinbase. I want to check. What's Coinbase doing right now? Nobody is able to find why this. Now it's up 6.5%. What the hell is going on with Coinbase right now? Wow. All right. Now it's up 7.5%. Jesus Christ. Block actually knocked it out of the park. Let's take a look at Square real quick. That's up 11%. It was up as much as 14 on the day. Starbucks also knocked it out of the park today. That stock is up 1%. It was up 3.5%, 4%, but they actually did well in their earnings. Mercado Libre also did well. That stock is up 3.5%. Carvana shit the bed. That stock is now down 7% still, but clawing its way back. It was down as low as 1271. Now back up to 1335. Twilio also shit the bed. Didn't do well. That stock's now down 17%. Cloudflare, as we just talked about, is down 14. Oh my goodness, down 14%, down near the lows of the after hours trading. Dash crushed it. Nobody's really shocked by that. Stock's up 14% after hours. Jesus. Atlassian also not great on earnings. Well, they were good on earnings. Guidance was really the trouble spot here. It was down as much as 25%, now down 20%. Monster Energy, we didn't talk about Monster today, but that stock's up 3.25% off of their earnings. Opendoor getting smacked as well. That's down 4% today. Skyworks, forget what Skyworks is. I just draw a blank. Skyworks ticker symbol. Oh, there it is. That SWKX. Skyworks is down 1.5%. Doesn't look like they're moving all that much off of their earnings. Oh, you know what? Rocket. Shit. Rocket's down 4.6. Oh my gosh. Poor Rocket, man. They should just be a value stock, and then just give everybody a regular dividend and be done with it. Corsair. These are some other ones that we didn't cover today. Just yet. That stock's up around 1.5%. No big deal there. Live Nation also, I didn't get a chance to touch on. That stock's up 5%. I actually really do like Live Nation here. The daily chart looks like we could have potentially seen a bottom on that. That stock's up 5%, still rolling. I want to check back on Coinbase though. Coinbase is now up nearly 10% after hours. Come back to the 5-minute chart here. Look at this. I got to find out why. I'm not leaving. So I'll find out what's going on with Coinbase. Guys, please feel free to share it in here if you've found anything. But I got nothing on Coinbase right now. I mean, they reported a net loss of 545 million. They missed on earnings per share. They came in at a loss of 243. The loss of 223 was expected. $590.3 million was the actual versus the 649 that was expected. And I got nothing as to why the stock is popping off right now. It's up 10%. It's given back all of its losses for today and then some. I really don't know what the hell's happening. What is going on with Coinbase? A lot of other people here, I'm just kind of scouring Twitter right now. A lot of other people on Twitter are like, what is going on? What is happening? Why is Coinbase? I'm in the same boat here. I really don't know. I really got no clue. I tell you what, do yourself a favor, go follow me on Twitter. I will share my findings if I find them. Yeah, a lot of people are talking about this. Yeah, some short interest, of course, and then it was already beaten badly. But I don't know. I don't know if that constitutes a 10% move up. We'll continue to keep an eye on that, guys. But if you guys wouldn't mind, go ahead and make sure you hit the like button, hit that subscribe. And I'll be back next week. Monday through Thursday, I go live at 3:45 p.m. Eastern time to cover earnings. So make sure you guys are going to check that out. I certainly would appreciate the like and sub. And that's going to do it for me. Enjoy your weekend, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. As always, I'll see you all later. Stay safe out there. And I'll see you Monday. Bye.